Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Conversations with Errstories. And I'm very excited, guys, because finally I have another episode of this segment. And with us today is Miss Vandana. She's an entrepreneur, a content writer, and an event organizer with a background in the hospitality industry and a solid professional skill set. She's the mother of two boys and has a variety of hobbies, including reading, writing, traveling, singing. Maybe Miss Bondana later you can give us some of your songs, no? Singing and photography. She's a member of the Community Writers Club Circle and has also been involved in various community organizations. And recently, she has launched a historical fiction called Hamlet in the Himalayas. And later on, she'll talk more about her books. She has been appointed as the chief editor of Hospitality's Best 30 magazine. And this magazine, guys, is actually distributed both digitally throughout the Middle East and in print in the United Arab Emirates. And for all the writers out there, I am excited to have with us today Miss Vandana. Hello, Miss Vandana. How are you doing
Hi,
today?
Elydia. Thank you so much for having me. It is a pleasure. And this is my first interview after I launched my book. And I'm very, very excited to speak to you.
Wow, okay. I'm so excited myself. I'm not sure if our audience can hear the rain on the background because suddenly it rained here in the Philippines. And Miss Vandana is in Canada, right? So it's like 9 in the morning there and 9 in the evening here. But we're together because we want to bring inspiration to our viewers. And you've mentioned, Ms. Vandana, that this is your first time to be interviewed after launching your book. So
Yes,
maybe you
that's
can
correct.
tell us more about your book and what inspired you to write.
I since you've mentioned, I've worked with the hospitality industry. We've been in this field for last 17 years now, working with the industry. So when COVID hit, the hospitality industry shut down completely. Hotels were closed, airports were shut down, and then no cruise line, no restaurants, there was nothing happening. So we were inside watching Netflix shows or blah blah blah. So quite desperate time, looking for new opportunities. So I think when it started opening, my husband had to travel for business when we saw that it might give us some opportunities. So that day I was just depressed, sitting in the temple, and then I had been writing blogs. So I was writing travel blogs, hotel reviews, restaurant reviews. So writing was my hobby, kind of, you could say. So one day I was sitting in the temple and I'm like, what am I going to do now? There is no work right now, and I need to do something to be productive, so that mental health is really going on right now. Everybody's talking about it, and especially in Canada when it's winter time, you don't see anybody outside. You're just indoor and just occupied with the four walls surrounding, and then nothing else to do. So I was just sitting depressed, and then something told me, why do you keep writing about yourself, what you ate, what you where you went? How about writing a fiction? So that was a time I was already a part of a writer circle here in Milton, Ontario. I am from Canada. So it told me to start something in fiction. And that was also the time when my son brought me some books from school, which he was learning. And he was like, Mom, I'll do the laundry. Why don't you read this book? So, all of those things pushed me to write something. And I prepared a draft. I sent it to my friend and asked if I should continue writing. And then they said, yes, why not? So I started. The first time, I think I started with a theme set in Northern England. So my characters were all British, and I had done a lot of research about the culture. I had to write about the festivals and weddings. So I did a lot of research, finished my draft, of wine with my husband, saying that, oh my God, I've done it. I felt like it was just writing another blog, which you complete and then share with the public. Little did I know that. Uh, books take a lot of time in editing, writing, rewriting. So it took me almost 3 years now, and here I am. My book is out now, Hamlet in the Himalayas, and this is how it looks. So I'm happy to talk about it more.
Wow, very, very inspiring. And I love it when it was actually your son who finally pushed you, because maybe it's there somewhere. And then you saw that, the love of a mother, right? And okay, so you've been writing, right? Even before, but it's more of blogs and self-help articles, is that right? Okay,
Yeah,
so
and professional articles as well, business articles as well, interviews, business articles. I was doing all of that.
okay, so how did you transition, like? Because we might have viewers who are also in the same situation as yours. Were you scared to start writing a fiction, or not really?
Of course, of course. Initially, I kept imagining, and writing was everything I could think about. Everybody will be sleeping in the house. I'll wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and then I sit down on my computer, write. And then late night until 11, 12, I'll be sitting down completely doing, all this. And then my son actually changed my name. He was 8 years old then. Now he's turning 11 in December. He changed my name to Mom is Editing. So I was like completely on and off. So it's like it's good. You have to be committed. You have to be, self motivated, I will say, because there is a lot of work that goes behind writing a fiction novel. So it feels good now since it's published.
Okay, and maybe you can tell us more about the story
Yes.
um, of Himalayas.
Yes. So Hamlet in the Himalayas follows a story of a community that was residing somewhere in Western India. India was under Mughal Empire and under British colonial rule for many, many years. And the story begins with when Mughals pushed the community to either convert or die. So the community, the people from there escaped the land to, survive and to save their religion. And reached, they had to face a lot of trouble because of the mountains, and so they reached a village where the king actually accepted them. And then the story slowly goes, the curse that follows after they, they make their new home. And then the story is actually about a boy and his mother. The curse follows their generations, and then a lot of things happen in the middle. So it's a beautiful read, gives you hope, gives you, I have cried and laughed. It makes me, a lot of emotions were flowing when I was writing the story. So I hope my readers can see that too. I have received 2 reviews until now, so I think people can feel it.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Later, we'll invite our viewers and to buy or get a copy of your book. And but before that, I know apart from the Hamlet, you also wrote other stories, right? So how did it go? Like from that book, you ended up having more and more. What's the journey like?
Yeah, so when I was writing Hamlet in the Himalayas, I had finished drafts. I think I finished the second draft. And then someone told me that I should not go back to editing right now and maybe start working on another project. So I started writing YA romance, which is targeted towards youth and the community. So I started writing that, and I was working, kind of finished that project. In the middle, I was, on and off editing this one. The book, which published in March, kind of pushed me. It's called The Prophecy Paradox: The Power and Perils of Seeing the Future. I was having vivid dreams. The whole world is going through a lot of trauma right now: earthquakes, tsunamis, and floods. So I was going through dreams. One week I saw dreams of disaster, and then it felt quite real. I could feel that I have been in that situation, so it pushed me more to explore the internet to see why I was seeing those dreams. So based on my research and then on religion and stuff, so the book is about comparative religion. It talks about dreams, it talks about different religion. The purpose I had there was to prove that all the religions teach one principle, which is kindness and humanity, and it's people who would just divide and spread hate.
Okay. It's like kind of aligned also with maybe based on your observation, like what you said, when the pandemic hit, a lot of people had nothing to do and some are depressed and all that,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah,
Maybe you can so yeah, and I like it when you said that sometimes it's not really about what we believe in, but how people live what they believe in, right?
yeah,
Instead of having unity, it's more of division
of course.
that's
Yeah, yeah,
happening. And
yeah,
as writers, I'm
yeah,
happy that you're taking an active role to, inspire people and look at it in the other side.
yeah. That's what I believe, and I wanted to spread that same word. I hope with in the future with more books I can convey my messages through my books. And if you see my back of my page, it says God helps
God
those who help
helps those
themselves.
who help
This
themselves.
quote stuck by me, and then we have to take steps to help ourselves, especially with the mental health and hatred going around. We have to be positive and spread positivity.
That's right. At this point, I'll ask you about writing tips that you can share to future writers out there.
Okay. Writing tips would be take some time to write, even though you are busy, full-time work, you have kids, you have other engagements. Give some time to it. Stay consistent. An hour a day probably to start with, and whenever you have time. I was writing early mornings, late nights, and sometimes in the middle of the work time, lunchtime. I would quickly finish in 5 minutes and then I'll go back to writing and editing. So staying consistent is really important, and then pay attention, read again and again, pay attention to your words, and see, take advice from your beta readers and your friends, so that they can contribute and help you if you need something to be changed in the book.
Okay, yeah. I agree with you, no, and I think that's where I am guilty about, Miss Vandana, is consistency in terms of really finding time to write.
Yeah, and passion,
So,
you need to have that passion. It means when you are writing a story, as I told you, I was writing about Northern England. I had finished the draft, edited 4 or 5 times, and still I felt there was no soul in the story because I had not lived in that culture. So that's why I changed the entire story, brought my characters to India, and wrote about the place where I grew up.
mhm,
So I could give it a feel, I could give us a soul, and then I think it's much better than I started with.
mhm. And yeah, are you the type like when you're writing, typing, it's like you are in the character of
Yeah.
the story
Yes.
you're writing?
Yeah, you have to feel it, you have to feel everything you're writing. So if you are passionate, if you can feel those emotions, your readers can too.
I agree, definitely agree. What are your future plans in terms of your writing?
Okay, I am working full time. I have kids. I have social engagement. I'm actively engaged in the community. But as I said, I have already finished a YA romance manuscript, which I'm looking at publishing sometime next year. This year, I had given myself. I wrote down once on a note in my office. I was sitting down on my desk. I wrote that this year I have to publish it.
Wow.
So I that was for Hamlet and Himalayas, and then Prophecy Paradox just came from nowhere. I don't know. So this year I have published 2 novels, and I have published 4 business magazines. For next year, I'm looking at least publishing YA romance. I've already started working on Hamlet in the Himalayas Part Two. I'll be working on a sequel, so I've already have ideas in mind. So hopefully next year I would not publish. Probably next year, maybe after year after that.
very exciting years ahead with
Yes.
all the books coming into
Very
picture.
well said. Yes.
Yeah. Maybe there will come a time, Vandana, that you'll be writing children's storybooks because, like sharing as a mom and the lives of your
Yeah,
children.
my son is actively involved with me, and I know he keeps bringing children's stories. So that might be in the future. I don't know. Right now, I'm also working on a self-help book because a lot of
Oh,
people come to me with advice about how to solve a situation or so. So I have experience in that, I would say, and I've been actively working with hospitality, industry. So I come across a lot of people. So working on a self-help book too. So let's see what comes out. I'll continue to write though.
okay. Yeah, before you give your message to our viewers, your inspiring message, um, where do our viewers access your books? How can they buy your books?
Okay, so Hamlet in the Himalayas, you can find it as an ebook, hardcover, and paperback on Amazon. It's available. I don't know if it's available in the Philippines, but if you are in UK, US, Canada, you can order through online. It's also available on Barnes and Noble's website. About the other writers, I also created this poster which has the QR code, which you could. I haven't been to my author's fair yet. There was one last week which I, missed. So, it's easier so people can access the QR code. And I'm trying to get my book into, bookstores and libraries. So let's see. From right now, maybe Amazon is the best resource for you.
Okay, we'll be placing the link of the Amazon and our
Yes. Thank
description
you.
so that the audience can access it. Okay, I
Thank
just
you so
have
much.
one controversial, not so controversial, but I'm just curious because
Sure.
recently there's like, AI has been very popular and
Yeah.
some are saying, oh no, we don't have work anymore, but some are excited also with the introduction of AI. So
Yeah.
what are your thoughts about it as a writer?
Yeah, AI could be helpful. A lot of people have been using it. It's important as we grow. I've been using Grammarly. I would say Grammarly is a tool which helps you correct the grammar. So I started using it. It helps me, create and a write up. I can put in there and see if I have any grammatical mistakes. Otherwise, Word document gives you a lot of mistakes, spelling errors, and all. You can check on Word as well. So AI is a good tool in the future. Probably I'll be looking forward to use it.
Okay, that's good to know that you're not threatened, but you're
No,
looking
no,
at
no,
it
no,
as
no, no, no. With every era has some kind of technology advancement and new things come in. It's good for us to adapt those changes because otherwise we'll be left behind. Every time a new invention came in, people were threatened. Like from the printing press to now, people were threatened that time also to lose their jobs and all. But as we grow, we have to make use and create our skills based on that new technology so that we can get that role instead of crying and sitting on it. So better develop ourselves to stay updated.
that's right. We have to be able to adapt with
Yes.
changes,
Good.
right?
Yes.
Okay, so any last message to our viewers out there?
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to work on this book. Writing has been a part of my journey since I was a child. My father necessarily did not say no for all my, whenever I wanted something. So I was a very demanding kid. So I needed everything that came, So whenever I needed something, whenever I asked, he said no. So I used to write a note, a letter in which I would say why I want that, what will I do with that thing, and how it can help me. So I would write a very, very emotional letter to him. And every time I sent it to him, he will approve it. So a piece of paper, it always worked. So, and I've been telling stories all my life. And now professionally, I am writing. And I hope my stories will reach out to the other readers. I have a lot of positive messages in my books because I consider myself as a positive person. People around me think the same, and I hope I can spread positivity and hope to everybody.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Miss Mondana. And actually, your aura is vibrating with a lot of positive
Thank you so
energy and
much.
inspiration.
Thank you so much.
And
I
I
appreciate
could feel it here over in the Philippines.
it.
And what more
That's
our viewers out there.
that's very kind of you to say that. I appreciate.
All right. So with that, I thank you again, Miss Bandana, for your time. Very meaningful conversation. And I hope our readers out there can get inspiration also to write their own book, looking back at their childhood experiences, right? Whether it could be no, not so happy, maybe sad or whatnot, but we have learned through it, right? So
Yes.
there. Thank you very much, Miss Mondana. This has been Here Are Stories, and I'm very happy that we're back on track. So
Yes.
we'll see
All
you
the best to
again
you,
next
Elydia.
time. Don't
Thank
forget
you.
to buy the book of Miss Vandana. I'll be placing the link in our description section. Bye, everyone. God bless you and
Bye
happy day.
bye. Take care.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.
Bye bye.